NIO is raking in millions through the secret service. And trust me when I tell you, service is going to be the biggest thing for NIO in the future years to come. Think about what services did for Apple. It's a recurring source of revenue, and it absolutely helped out Apple big time. And it's going to do the same with NIO. So when they launched the ET9, the incentive, very interesting. You might have think, oh, maybe they're going to give you some discounts or some like specs or anything for early adopters. But no, 100 hours of a chauffeur dedicated driver. This points you at where everything is going at. Right now here in China, NIO's 驾校, which is designated driver service, has been hugely successful. And it really shouldn't be named designated driver. It should be named personal assistant, because it's not only a driver. That person can do all sorts of things, all right? From not only tutoring kids with homework, picking up kids from school and tutoring them homework at home, and also to fixing stuff like fixing computers, all sorts of stuff. When you got a problem that needs to be solved, you don't call anybody else, but you call NIO. What? That's how insanely good this thing has become. And people here in China, NIO owners, have realized this, and they've been using this service, purchasing the service, and giving it tremendously good reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next few years to come, it's going to be even more competitive selling EVs, all right? There's so many guys in the market, but service, battery swap service, and also this personal assistant / designated driver service, this is recurring revenue, guys. Once people use this, it's sort of like how battery swap, once you use it, you cannot go back, all right? It's become so convenient to just swap in 5 minutes instead of waiting an hour to charge that it has become a way of life. Same thing with this designated driver thing, all right? I'm seeing multiple, all right, when I drive by schools, especially some international schools here in Beijing, like really opulent, wealthy, only wealthy kids can go to these schools. They used to be only for foreigners, but now it's basically if you have a ton of money, you can go there. And what I'm seeing is that the NIOs there, all right, they're not driven by people. They're driven by NIO employees in that blue NIO service uniform, all right? That just tells you that's the designated driver, all right? They're using that service to pick up kids from school every day. When I drive by the school from my home to the service center, I drive by 2 schools, all right? And both of them, there's NIOs over there with no NIO owner, just the designated driver guy there picking up kids from school. And NIO is only charging 150 an hour, all right, RMB. And it's a very fair price that just, you know, it's not overly expensive, but it's not nothing. And for rich people, that's basically like peanuts, all right? For the convenience that they get and the amount of things that you can do with this, it's just so worth it for them. And the best part about it, it's not restricted to cities, all right? You can have, as long as you specify it, you can even have, like, for example, you want to go to a different city. You want to travel, right? But you don't want to drive there. But you want to bring a car there, but you don't want to drive there. But get this service, man. You can get NIO's designated driver to drive the car for you while you rest in the back seat or sleep or do whatever you want, work on your computer, and the designated driver just drives you wherever you want. You can do whatever you want. I mean, even if you're feeling lonely, you can even get them to eat lunch with you or whatever you want, man. Some of these guys can even cook. What? This is becoming like service, overall service for your entire life. All right, this is how crazy this has gotten. All right, and NIO's getting so much money from this, and these guys are all professionally trained. They take very good care of your car, and whatever you need to do, they are very careful, very professional. But there's even going to be a higher tier, which is the ET9 benefit. All right, the 100 hours of chauffeur driver, that's even higher level of like service. These guys are going to be even more expensive, but the overall service experience is going to be even better. All right. So of course, if you're driving ET9, you're like one of those bosses, right? You're like one of those Maybach owners. You're a boss. Then you gotta have like top tier. Those guys are gonna be in suits and stuff. So NIO's actually getting 2 tiers of this service, right? This tier that's operating right now and getting in millions and millions of dollars, but then also the extra luxurious tier that's probably gonna be even more like courteous, even more opulent, and just be like your personal bodyguard, assistant, chauffeur, driver, and paid by the hour. That's just crazy. That's just crazy to think about. NIO is revolutionizing the service industry. Everything, not just the car, but the service industry as well. Battery swap energy and service is going to be one of the big revenue generators for NIO in the years to come. Once you use it, you can't go back. I mean, a lot of these really wealthy families, they don't have time to even pick up the kids, right? Usually they'd have like a personal driver to do it for them, all right? But then if the personal driver goes pick up the kids, then the personal driver isn't with the boss. You get what I mean? What's even cooler, and this is something that I also discovered, is that you can rent a NIO and then also have the service with it included. All right. Of course, you got to pay extra for the service as well. So say that I'm going to another city, another place, and I want to rent a NIO and I also don't want to drive. I can rent a NIO and I can also get that service, pay for it. And voila, I have the service in another city and I have a rented NIO that can basically take me anywhere I want. And even better, you can do this with non-NIO owners. All right. Say that I don't own a NIO. Somebody that doesn't own a NIO can go to a city and on the NIO app, you're able to do this. Basically, rent a NIO and have a dedicated driver with you as well, giving you the best service that you can ever imagine. And speaking of rentals, NIO has actually really been pushing rentals quite substantially here in China. Subscription, basically. It's pretty popular in Europe, all right? Leasing and that kind of stuff. But here in China, people usually just straight out buy the car. People don't really lease. So NIO does have that subscription going for it here in China, and they do have some pretty good promotions on it as well. And of course, afterwards, after subscribing to a car, you can also buy a NIO and you actually get a little bit of discount if you do that as well. So it's a great way for people to first try out the car for maybe a month or 2 months and then buy a car if they decide that they like it. So definitely do not let service slide under the radar. It is going to be a massive revenue generator for NIO, recurring revenue generator for NIO. I am absolutely shocked at the amount of adoption that it's getting here in China. Everybody's using it to pick up their kids, tutor the kids, fix things. It's just crazy that what you can do with this. I mean, wow. NIO's an EV company, more so also an energy company, more so also a service company. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.